Welcome to Blackbeard Logic, where we cut through the noise, expose the hypocrisy, and fight for the truth in this wild, wild world of politics. I am your host, Leon Francis, and today we have a jam-packed show sheet that's got everything from election integrity battles to liberal gaffes, local drama, and some good old-fashioned government waste outrage. All this and more coming up on Blackbeard Logic. First up, the SAVE Act, or as Trump calls it now, the Save America Act. Folks, President Trump is dropping truth bombs, saying the only reason that Democrats don't want this voter ID bill is because if we pass it, Democrats won't win another election for 50 years, maybe longer. He's threatening to block every other bill until Congress gets it done, putting the heat on the Senate to ditch the filibuster if needed. This is about requiring proof of citizenship and photo ID for federal elections, making it easy to vote but impossible to cheat with non-citizens. Democrats are panicking, understandably, calling it everything from voter suppression to chaos. But Trump's right. Their resistance screams volume. If fair elections mean they lose forever, that's not on us. That is their playbook. Shifting to local North Dakota news, drama. Zibolski is out. Fargo Police Chief David Zibolski announced his retirement yesterday after more than 40 years in law enforcement, with his last day set for March 27th. His tenure was rocky, to say the least. He had a toxic work environment, mass departures, he mishandled cases, unsolved homicides, and that infamous facial recognition fiasco that we are going to revisit. He claims it's a family decision for the grandkids and time and leaving on a good note. But let's be honest, the city is ready for fresh leadership. Commissioners are even frustrated with how the announcement was rolled out. This guy was a disaster. Good riddance to him and all the controversy that surrounds him. And speaking of that fiasco, a whole facial recognition thing. This Tennessee grandma was jailed for 6 months for a crime that she not only didn't commit, could not have committed. Angela Lip, a 50-year-old grandma from Tennessee who had never set foot in North Dakota, never flown on a plane, was arrested at gunpoint while babysitting her grandkids. Fargo PD's faulty facial recognition matched her to bank fraud surveillance with fake military IDs. They hauled her across the country without even interviewing her. They never interviewed this lady. She sat in jail for nearly 6 months until bank records proved that she was 1,200 miles away buying pizza, cigarettes, and using apps. But the charges were dropped on Christmas Eve, but she was left stranded in Fargo. She had summer clothes on. She had no help home, no apology from Zibolski. She lost her home, her car, even her dog. The real fraudster? They're still free. This is what blind reliance on tech without basic human critical thinking looks like. It was a total failure. I hope she sues. Now, more on North Dakota politics. All of our Republican statewide office holders confirmed this week that they are skipping the NDGOP endorsement at the state convention in Minot on March 28 through 29. Incumbents like Attorney General Drew Wrigley, Secretary of State Michael Howe, and others are gathering signatures instead of heading straight to the June primary. With the party shifting right and internal drama, they're saying that the endorsement process is broken and doesn't reflect the rank and file voters anymore. We're going to talk with my good friend Perry Schumacher to say, is this a smart play? Do they take their records directly to the people and skip the convention? Or is this them running away from their constituents? We're going to discuss with Perry Schumacher, host of the Due North Political Podcast. So crossing to New York City, Governor Kathy Hochul stood in front of a black congregation at True Bethel Baptist Church and straight up told them not to stop by the liquor store with their inflation rebate checks. I didn't even know that was a thing. Don't spend it all in one day, she said. Get something you really need. Buy something for the kids. Buy them some food. She even added, sometimes I have to stop by the liquor store too. But the damage was done. Critics call it tone deaf, demeaning and racially insensitive, echoing her past gaffes, like claiming that black kids in the Bronx don't know anything about computers. The pastor defended it as lighthearted, but I have a different take. Classical liberal hypocrisy, in my humble opinion. Finally, wrapping up with DC absurdity, Pete Hegseth, Department of Defense, is getting hammered by liberals for spending $22 million on steak and lobster back in September. And it was part of a massive $93 billion end-of-year spree, is what they're calling it. Watchdogs are screaming scandal. $15 million on ribeye, $6.9 million on lobster tail, $2 million on king crabs, plus donuts, ice cream machines, and even $100,000 piano. But hold on, everyone who served knows that surf and turf means deployment. It's a morale booster for the troops heading into harm's way. And the least that we can do, in my humble opinion. Where's the outrage over Biden's $40 billion with a B Taliban gear giveaway, or Obama's Iran cash pallets? Where's that? Nowhere. Our warriors deserve that meal. Let the libs clutch pearls while Hegseth gets the military focused on winning. That's the rundown, folks. Elections rigged against us. Failed chiefs. Party splits. Liberal stereotyping. And defending our truth. Stay vigilant. Share the truth. This is Blackbeard Logic. I am your host, Leon Francis, on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it. Good evening, folks. It is a balmy Friday here in North Dakota. Fargo, well, not Fargo, North Dakota anymore. Let me know if you can hear me all right. I've been having mic issues. Sometimes it sounds fine. Sometimes it's a little tinny. I can hear my coonhound out there barking. That means somebody must be out in the yard. But somebody check on Bo. Sorry, folks. That's what happens when you have a coonhound. You put him out in the yard. You live like I live out in the middle of nowhere, so there's all kind of wildlife. There's got to be a herd of probably 50 to 75 whitetail. Like right, if I turn the camera and you can see out that window in that huge field out there, there's just tons going on. So if you hear my coonhound braying, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, all right. So, show sheet. First up, we're going to talk about Trump. So, Trump drops the hammer this week. And actually, like right before I sat down here, I saw that John Thune said he's going to bring the SAVE Act to the floor, and the Senate Democrats will be forced to defend their position on that. So I guess that's a good thing. But what I want to dig into is more this.
They're doing everything possible because they know if we get this, they probably won't win an election for 50 years, okay? And maybe longer. And they're going to fight like hell. But boy, do they get killed. Because even the Democrats, you saw the numbers today, Democrats voted 86% that this stuff should be passed. The Democrats, with Republicans, you're at 98%, but Democrats are at 86%, except for the people that run the Democrat Party, because they want to try and win elections illegally. It's the only reason you vote against voter ID is because you want to cheat. There's no other reason. They come up with reasons. They say, it's racist. That's their number one, racist. Then you have to explain it, and they're just sitting there mumbling. They can't explain it.
Now, I've said for quite some time that if you are of the mindset that it is racist to require an ID, it means you're a bigot. Because again, we've dealt with this whole Jim Crow 2.0 before. With I forget the who's the fat chick down in Georgia. I forget, but even back then, when they were talking about their own version of election reform, and they were calling it Jim Crow 2.0, and they said that Republicans were being bigoted, and it was like a poll tax and all of this garbage. The turnout for African American voters, for minority voters, actually was at historic highs during that election. So that was a lie. but we all know that. We all know that that's what Democrats do. It's kind of their MO. As a matter of fact, oh, Eli's been messing with my mic. I could see that now. It was down quite a bit. Might have to throw that kid a beating. But anyway, no. But we can see this. We can see what's going on, and like we can also see and understand because we have the common sense that God gave a cricket that you cannot disenfranchise. And me and my buddy Perry Schumacher talked about this a little bit on the Due North Political podcast. You cannot disenfranchise the American voter by diluting their voting power by allowing people that are not Americans to vote. And if you don't believe, if you can't draw a correlation between Biden letting in 20 million folks, just flying them on black flights, letting them into the country, they're in every, and again, I keep going back to Barack Obama saying that he wanted to inject color into all too white enclaves of Americana. I can't get that phrase out of my head because it seems to me that that's exactly what these people have done. And the only reason, because to be clear, this is not an 80-20 issue. This is more like a 90-10 issue, and the 10% are all in Washington. Like everybody that looks at this thing, unless they're an awful or someone like Thomas Riley, and you folks that are on my social media, you know who that is. The only people that are all wee-weed up about this is dyed-in-the-wool liberals. That's it. Everybody else, Republican, Democrat, Independent, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. You should be an American citizen. You should be able to prove that before you can vote in our elections. But the Democrats are fighting tooth and nail, and they project. I'm going to show you a little bit of projection right here. This is Chuck Schumer. Take a look.
But their bill isn't voter ID, number one. It is about voter registration. It allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls,
Now, listen at that statement. Listen at that statement. How can you kick 10 million voters off the rolls if they're legal? That's projection right there. Do you know what diluting the American, that's like 10 million voters diluting the voter rolls. Do you understand how big that is? And Chuck Schumer just admitted that. Democrats have been admitting that they want this voter fraud like for a couple of weeks now. And all you have to do is listen to them. And they're giving you all kinds of anecdotal BS and things that are covered through a racial lens and calling it bigotry because they know that in the past Republicans cower from that kind of thing. But just listen to this guy. He says the quiet part out loud.
Off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day. Off the rolls. To kick tens of millions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore, you're not registered here, you're not on the rolls.
These guys, and I pulled this clip also. This is Coons, and he is grilling Kristi Noem, someone that you guys all know that I have had an issue with since day one, is Kristi Noem. But on this, she's spot on. So listen to the projection here.
The deployment of ICE or CBP to polling places this November.
There are no plans to have ICE officers at our polling locations. And
I'm glad to hear that, but would you rule it out? Would you say it will not happen?
Do you plan on illegal aliens voting in our elections, Senator?
I do not. In fact,
then
the
there should be
Heritage
no need to,
Foundation,
unless you plan on illegal
Madam
aliens
Secretary,
voting.
so I'm concerned by your rebuttal.
There are no plans to send any of our law enforcement officers to
But
polling
Madam Secretary,
locations.
you're
sir.
clear it would
there
be a
have been
federal
illegal
crime
aliens.
for you to do so.
There are illegal aliens that have voted, and it's been proven in the past in certain cases in certain states. We provide a program to states. I think we have 27 different states that utilize our SAVE program now to verify individuals that are eligible to vote in their elections. And as states run their election systems, we encourage them to use that to make sure they maintain their election integrity.
Madam Secretary, will you issue a directive that ICE and CBP should be nowhere near polling places this November?
We have no plans to have ICE officers or law enforcement at polling locations. States are responsible for running.
Now, what she said there is perfect. I would have went further. I would have told this idiot, this pinhead, I would have told him, we were not planning on it, but given your very, very strong opposition, it seems like you guys have a game plan. And maybe we should have plainclothes. And now he's stating some legal code that says you can't have armed guys but I don't believe that that's true, because even like in a small town like Enderlin, when you go and vote, there's normally a sheriff officer there or that sort of person. But I would, if we don't get the SAVE Act passed, if that's not a thing, then I would have to question every single election going forward, given the fact that there's so much pushback on such a common sense bill like the SAVE Act. Hey, you got to be an American citizen. Now, I have also heard scuttlebutt, and this kind of gives me pause, and you guys let me know what you think in the comments, but I've heard scuttlebutt, but that this would lead to real ID. If that's the case, then we got a problem. I am a guy who understands technology, and it has a healthy skepticism of technology in government hands, but that's neither here nor there. The only reason that these guys do not want voter ID and the SAVE Act, or even I would be, and Perry and I, we spoke about this on the Due North Political podcast. I'm in favor of census reform, but we have to have the SAVE Act, because the Democrats let in, again, 20 million illegal aliens. 20 million. We don't know where they are. ICE is doing its level best, and they are fighting tooth and nail. If you think that these ICE rallies are not orchestrated by Democrats, then I got a bridge to sell you right out back there. If you don't believe that these ICE rallies and protests and all of that are not an orchestrated thing, then you are not living in the real world. These people, and I interact with some of them on social media. These people are not only insane, but they're insidious. They're insatiable. They want power. I remember, and I can't remember the senator that said this. He said, all you guys want is power. And I pray to God you never get it. And I agree with that. If Democrats hold power, and that's what this whole thing is about, it's why they don't want, in the census, they don't want, citizenship being a requirement in the census. They don't want that because, again, and I've made this point before, this is a very old Democrat tactic. Back when the Democrats had their slaves, they wanted to count their slaves as people for the purpose of apportionment. That was the whole deal. They had absolutely no qualms about having folks that had zero rights, zero liberties that the Constitution afforded citizens. They had no qualms about using their bodies, though, as power as a vote, and that's what they're doing here. It's why you hear all of the BS statistics that immigrants commit less crime on average, which is a lie. Illegal immigrants commit well over the populace, the citizenry of the United States, of the U.S., well over representation. Illegal immigrants. One, they broke the law when they came here. And two, the crimes that they're committing, they're not being reported as like illegals. Like we'll get the big names, but all of the ancillary, they don't. These people have a strategy, and that strategy is long term. And it's why they are fighting tooth and nail against Trump. Because Trump is coming in, and I said this the other day, he's coming in, and he's not playing 4D chess or anything like that. He's resetting the chessboard. That's what he's doing. What we've been doing does not work. And it has us backsliding. And we think that we're correcting, but we're not. Our position has changed. Like, if we let these people have their heads, if we went into a deep sleep and woke up 20 years from now, we would not recognize our country. That's how far we will have migrated left. One of the reasons why I'm apprehensive about the direction of the NDGOP is precisely that reason. Like our elected representatives, they don't want to meet with guys like me and Perry and the good folks that are listening to me right now. They don't want to meet with us because they think that we are ideologues. They think that we are MAGA. They and the thing that gets me is the fact that we're the guys in the trenches. We're the guys that make the whole apparatus work. We're the guys that hold our own people's feet to the fire. Like when Nancy Mace came out with that bill to see, all of the sexual allegations and the slush fund that was tied to that and all of that, I'm all for that. And the fact that our gal who represents us voted against it pisses me off. So I understand why she doesn't want to come here and face us, because we're going to hold her feet to the fire. And I'm saying that, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to talk to Perry about that a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't hold these people true north, we're going to wake up one day and we will have migrated past the center line, and we're going to be left. And that's just a fact. We're damn near there now. It blew my mind when I saw how many people were coming across our borders during the Biden administration. And everybody acted like we had, what's his face, who had Kristi Noem's position before now. I can't remember his name, but that guy was telling us the border was secure, and we could see that it absolutely was not. So if his version of security becomes the norm, if that becomes the norm, we don't have a country anymore. If the peaceful protest under BLM becomes the norm, then we live in chaos. If sending billions of dollars to terrorists and the biggest state sponsor of terror globally, if sending them pallets of cash becomes the norm so they don't bomb everybody, then we live in a chaotic world. And what Trump is doing, Trump is resetting that whole thing. He's like, so we're not doing this. We're shutting down the border. 0 people are coming in. We're not paying these idiots not to bomb people. We're going to take them out now. They've already, I mean, if we're talking about Iran, and I'm going to only talk about that for 2 seconds, but if we're talking about Iran has been thumbing their noses at America for quite some time. All of the IEDs that have killed our boys, they've been made by Iran. That's who made them. All those IEDs. Every time you see all these little ancillary groups that are like pirates and bombing Israel and bombing, trying to bomb U.S. embassies, and all of that is Iran. So if we're going to sit here with our fingers in our ears and our heads in the sand and say, well, Iran was just peacefully, existing, and we decide, no, miss me, that's BS. It's BS. But it was normal because the powers that be, up until Trump, allowed it. They allowed that to become the normal thing. Now, I've already bloviated well past 25 minutes, and I'm still on the SAVE Act. But I really wanted to touch on that because the only reason to be against the SAVE Act is because you have a dog in the fight. It's the only reason would be that you want those illegals to vote. That's the only reason. There's no other reason to be against it. And I've heard all the arguments, and they're bad arguments. It disenfranchises women. It disenfranchises minorities who don't know how to get a birth certificate or something, apparently. But none of that is true. And what we need to do is bring this thing back to center because it's going off the rails. I mean, seriously, if you want a country, and this kind of ties into the NDGOP, if you want a country where both parties are saying that little boys can be little girls, let's keep doing what we're doing because that's where it's going to go. Because if nobody is holding our party's feet to the fire and saying, no, we don't do this. No, we don't do that. As a Republican, what a Republican means is X, Y, and Z. If we don't have folks in the trenches that are holding that line, we're moving left. I mean, we already see that. We've already seen that. So with that being said, I'm going to put that issue to bed. Mayorkas, made Dorcas. Yep, you're right about made Dorcas. Oh, leave it to my comments, man. They'll straighten me out. All right, let's go to Zibolski. We all know this guy, right? I've had issues with this guy. This is the outgoing Fargo police chief, and my sentiments is the guy in the Atlanta Braves hat is F that guy. This guy he's a horrible person. And I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he's a horrible person. He is, however, a very bad police chief. I knew he was bad when I saw him taking a knee with BLM. I can't understand how you could be a police chief. And this is something else. You see how they changed the Fargo police cruisers? It went from sworn to protect, dedicated to serve, to built on trust, accountability, and inclusion. Does that sound familiar? All that is DEI. All of that is under this guy. Here, and I got some, here, give me 1 second, get my notes here. So under this guy, like, just a ton of bad policies. He's just, this guy couldn't run a lemonade stand. Like, when he grabbed the mantle, by August of last year, 50 officers had resigned under his leadership. And that's per city data via open records request. In 2022, reports showed that 35 plus resignations, retirements since he started. This is him, doing the whole BLM thing since he started. And the exit interviews, 35 plus of them alleged a toxic work environment, low morale, lack of leadership, and Zibolski viewing local officers as bumpkins needing to be fixed. Yeah, what the guy in the Braves hat is saying. Yeah, F that guy. Former officers from his prior role in Wisconsin allege similar patterns, high turnover, 30 plus left due to him, and lack of leadership putting lives at risk. So why Fargo thought that this guy would be a perfect fit, I don't know. The exact same thing that he was accused of in Wisconsin is the exact same thing that our officers in Fargo accused him of. So there was a pattern, and it was demonstrable. We could see it. This is what happens when you have liberal city leadership. All they saw was this guy on his knees, hands raised, and praise to St. George Floyd. That's all they saw. That's all they needed to see. It didn't matter how bad a leader he was. And we see the results of this. We see this guy telling us that Fargo is totally safe. I mean, we've had calls for his resignation back in 2020. Commissioner Dave Pepcorn called for immediate removal after anonymous letters and turnover reports. So the things that I just read to you, officers leaving, the exit interviews, Pepcorn, to his credit, said, yeah, this guy's got to go. In August 2025, after 2 deadly downtown shootings, Commissioners Pepcorn and Michelle Turnberg, here, I got to hit my, give me a second. Michelle Turnberg slammed his response. He had a delayed statement. I think he said he was off, I don't know, golfing, fishing, whatever. 15 hours. Like, we had those 2 deadly downtown shootings, and the Fargo PD, under this guy's leadership, flubbed that up completely. Like, completely. Just horrible handling of that. And then the messaging was horrible. They had a press conference 36 hours later. He was smug. He was arrogant. He was condescending. His communication skills were garbage. And so Turnberg and Pepcorn demanded his dismissal if he didn't resign. They thought he was going to resign back then. But no, he hung on. Tim Mahoney, the mayor there in Fargo, defended him. And the pressure was mounting from the public, even from reporters. I saw there was a lot of folks did not like this guy, and I'm glad that he's out. But I'm skeptical. He's saying that, he's leaving to spend time with the kids and, the grandkids and all of that. I don't think it is. I think that this is the reason. This is the straw that broke the camel's back right here, I believe. This story right here. Now, this is a grandma from Tennessee. Her name is Angela Lipp. She spent 6 months in jail because AI, the Fargo Police Department, AI, said that she was the woman in these pictures on this side. I guess you can't see those. That kind of blows. Give me a second. I'm going to try to move that over a bit so you can see. So she was in jail because they said that this was her. This woman on the left was her passing, withdrawing money, tens of thousands of dollars. It was supposedly an organized bank fraud scheme involving fake military IDs, tens of thousands of dollars withdrawn from banks based solely on facial recognition software matching surveillance footage to her driver's license photo and on social media. And this is why I say I have a healthy skepticism of technology, because technology is faulty. And when you're talking about somebody's freedom, and let's be honest here, they nabbed this woman in Tennessee. She'd never been on a plane before, nothing. They bring her all the way to Fargo, North Dakota in the winter. 6 months she's gone, and she lost her home. She lost her vehicle. She even lost her dog. And the Fargo Police Department just kind of kicked her out on the street. It was like, oh, no apology, no, buy your leave, no, hey, since this was our mess up, we're gonna, give you a plane ticket home, give you some money for, like, if she was an illegal immigrant, she would have gotten a lot more. I'm just gonna say that. She spent 4 months in jail in Tennessee as a fugitive without bail before being extradited to North Dakota in October. She remained in jail for over 5 months until December 19th, when her attorney presented bank records and transaction evidence proving that she was in Tennessee, depositing Social Security checks, buying groceries, and using like Uber services during the alleged crimes when she was supposed to be in Fargo. The charges, 4 counts each of unauthorized use of personal identifying information and theft, were dismissed on Christmas Eve, and she was released. Freezing. Like, I'm a Louisiana boy. I remember when I came to North Dakota, it was November of '96. And I got to tell you guys, for 6 months, I was sick as a dog. And I had money, I had clothes, I didn't have the right clothes. Again, Louisiana boy, so none of my clothes were North Dakota rated. But I could imagine this woman getting picked up in Tennessee 5 months prior and then being released in December in Fargo, North Dakota. Like, my God, that just, like, you would have thought an officer there would have had a heart. You would have thought that Zibolski would have said, yeah, we got to make this right. Now, I hope this woman sues. And the thing that sucks is the city of Fargo is bankrupt. So I don't know how that's going to play out. They're $1.3 billion in the hole. So I don't know. But there you go. So she was released, but left stranded in summer clothes, no police assistance for travel home, local attorneys and a community member, I think the guy over the F5 project, helped her get to Chicago and then got her back to Tennessee. Like, cases like this, they heighten my concern over reliance on, like, facial recognition. Without, like, if the only piece of evidence that you have, corroborating evidence, is technology, like facial recognition, I don't think that you should be, thrown in jail. I think that police need to do some actual police work before they just kind of sit back on, well, AI, facial recognition. I think that you should have to have more. Again, the person that committed these crimes is still out there. So they haven't found that person. But this woman, she lost her job, her home, her car, even her dog. And all of her bills are just piling up because she's in jail. Again, I'm not a sue happy person. But I believe that she is owed. I believe that she is owed. And I believe that Fargo shouldn't have to be drug kicking and screaming to pay this woman. I think that there should have been a good faith effort to put her right. And since there wasn't, I think she should go for the jugular. I really do. And it kind of sucks, again, because Fargo is $1.3 billion in the hole. But, that's what happens when you let liberals. And again, this is the main reason why I am the way I am, is because I understand. I've lived in cities that are run by liberals. It's never good. It's never every place I've ever lived that was run by liberals or progressives were garbage dumps. They were crap holes. And unfortunately, that's what's happening to Fargo. I'm going to hit this commercial break, and we will be back right after this break. You would think that I would be better at this by now. But oh, come on. There. Hey, it's Leon Francis from Blackbeard Logic on the Guns and the 701 Network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
When you want it done right, go where lemons go. Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon. Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Come on, no.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with Blackbeard Logic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it. So I'm going to call this segment Cutter Buck. And on my social media, I had a post that basically said that. In this segment, I'm going to bring in at the top of the hour my buddy Perry Schumacher, host of Due North Political Podcast. I'm one of the guys on there. It's four of us. Perry is a very, very long time political activist in I think he's out in West Fargo, but like the whole North Dakota Tea Party caucus, that was Perry, me, Perry, and Mike, and like a bunch of patriots. And I guess folks called us extreme way back then. And that, I am sick of that. The reason I call this segment Cutter Buck is I think, hey, Bo's going off again. Somebody go check on him. That dog, oh, I cannot wait till it's, warm out. But anyway, maybe I should get him a girlfriend. Get some of that pent up frustration out of that kid. But anyway, this cheeses my grits. These people, I remember way back when we were doing the whole Tea Party thing, people called us extreme. And I can't fathom that. Like, the people that are sitting at home that don't lift a finger to make sure that the people that are representing them actually have some scruples about them, those are the people that are throwing arrows at us. And then the folks that we elect that use the party apparatus to get where they are, now they want to say that we're extreme. They want to say that we are too populous, apparently. That we're out of touch with the rank and file voters. that we're too chaotic. I agree with Matthew Simon. He says that's shameful, and it is. Folks like me who have been a part of the North Dakota political scene for quite some time. I was district chair. I've been a delegate. I've been on the not the rules committee, but the committee that kind of sets our planks. I've been involved in that, and so to hear these people say that, well, you're too dirty, or you're too, whatever phrasing, you're too MAGA. They don't want to talk to me. And here is the hard truth right here. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to say it. The truth is, they don't want a thinking populace. They don't want folks that sit down and kind of parse out the policies and the procedures and the things that are happening and what they don't want that. They would rather you sit at home and allow them to run this country in the ground. Why the hell are we 30-some odd trillion dollars in debt? Why? If these people are so responsible, there's a reason for that. Why do they have a slush fund in Washington to take care of all the sexual assaults, all the sexual innuendos that are going on up there? Why do they have that? They don't expect you to hold them accountable. I mean, who are you? I believe that this is a truism. I believe that we get the government that we elect. And if we don't do our research, if they're not afraid to get their feet held to the fire, then we're going to get garbage. We're going to get what we have been getting that got us 30 some odd trillion. Some estimates are like $40 trillion in the hole. We're going to get leadership that try to control us like they did during COVID. We're going to get leadership that allows open borders. We're going to get leadership that allows terrorists to come into our country. We're going to get leadership that has gas prices through the roof like they have in California. Because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? If they're not afraid of us, and listen to me when I say afraid, I am afraid of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm afraid of displeasing him. I'm afraid of disobeying him, which is why I try to do my level best, and I'm not perfect, to do what he says and to follow the plan that he has set out for us. So when I say afraid, that's the context. Not afraid that, we're going to be violent or anything like that. That's not where I'm going with that. But they should have a healthy fear of their constituents. Like, there are some of our representatives that won't even do a town hall because they don't want to face and we all know who I'm talking about. They don't want to face hard questions. They'd rather just go in front of a camera, cheese a little bit, throw out a couple of sound bites, go, yay, Trump, and be out the door. They don't want a guy like me saying, hey, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Let's talk about this issue. Why did you do this? Why did you vote this way? Why did you not vote that way? Like, break it down for me. Make it make sense to me. They don't want those conversations. They want you sitting on your couch voting for the R. And that mindset is going to get us what we've been getting. Now, I am going to bring my good friend Perry Schumacher into the conversation. How you doing, Perry?
Good evening, Leon.
Good evening. I am going to also, and I edited this just for time, Chairman Simon's speech. It's about 4 minutes. So I'm going to play this just so the folks have an idea of what we're talking about here. Here we go.
I'd like to read some prepared remarks. and then I'll open the floor to Q&A and we can have some open dialogue. Later this month, Republicans from across North Dakota will gather in Minot for the 2026 NDGOP State Convention. Our convention is where Republicans from every corner of the state come together to discuss the future of the party, hear from our candidates, and set the tone for the important elections ahead. The theme of the 2026 convention, Strong Roots, Bold Future, reflects the foundation and direction of the North Dakota Republican Party. For generations, North Dakota Republicans have been grounded in the values of hard work, of faith, family, and individual freedom that have shaped communities across the state. Those strong roots continue to guide the party today as Republicans look ahead with confidence, focusing on policies that support the economic engines that drive commerce, protect our liberties, strengthen local communities, and prepare the next generation of leaders to carry North Dakota forward. The values that draw North Dakotans to the Republican Party must be reflected in deeds, not reduced to talking points during election season. In a few weeks, delegates from all reaches of the state will gather to participate directly in the process and help determine the direction of the Republican Party of North Dakota. They will hear from inspiring speakers. They'll be afforded fellowship opportunities. They'll be able to engage in robust deliberation and elevate the voices of those whom they represent to ensure that the values of the North Dakota Republican Party continue to guide us and our state as we move forward with the 2026 election cycle. Our speaker lineup includes Steve Deace, a nationally recognized commentator known for his bold insights on faith, culture, and American politics. His keynote will deliver a thought-provoking look at the battles shaping our nation and why our engagement matters more now than ever. Additionally, we will host Casey Crosby, co-chair of the Republican National Committee, Royce White, Minnesota senatorial candidate, and Tim Young, comedian and political commentator. The planning of this convention began immediately after the state committee meeting in spring of 2025. Progress, including the scheduled dates, has been shared at the monthly executive committee meetings. The governor, senators, and congresswoman are all members of this committee and have been informed throughout the process with an opportunity for feedback if a conflict had been apparent. We believe that serious issues deserve serious participation, and we've done our utmost to facilitate that participation. Unfortunately, some of our elected officials have chosen to disregard the roughly 1,000 delegates who are looking forward to hearing from them at the convention, and the hundreds of thousands of North Dakotans whom those delegates represent. The Republican voters deserve better than that. We'll continue to work to protect the integrity of the convention process so that our elected officials, both here in North Dakota and in Washington, are elected by informed voters and not by checkbooks. We're looking forward to welcoming delegates, volunteers, and supporters to Minot on March 28th and 29th for what will be an exciting and important.
So I'm going to pause it there. It goes on for another minute. But there's a couple of things in that statement, and I kind of alluded to them, Perry, before you joined me. The fact that I don't believe they want an informed, public. I think they want mindless drones. So my question to you is, like Simon called it shameful and a disregard for the delegates. Do you agree with that framing, one? And what does that say about them pushing back so publicly?
Well, I think we go back to 2009 or so, and it's Bizarro World. It's a Seinfeld episode now. Everything has flipped 180 degrees. Okay, by people more effective at it than I ever was way back in 2009. But when we first started showing up, there was 7 people there, right? And they liked it that way. It's easy to control 7 when you have 7 sheep there and you get voted in as a district, endorsed by your district. And people started getting involved, and then COVID hit. More people got involved because of the way the state government reacted. And now tons of people are showing up at district meetings, and the establishment can't stand it. You can't control that many people anymore. Now it's endorsement versus nomination. The districts versus the primary. It's advocacy versus self-interest. Neither person is wrong. It's not illegal either way. But to deny that it's not it's turned into a big mess is what it is. And it's just unique to me how it turned into it's flip-flopped 180 degrees. Now it's the conservatives that have control of the party, or are darn near taking control of the party. And it's the establishment Republicans that are rebelling. It used to be the exact opposite of that. We figured out their game. The same things they accuse us of, we accuse them of. It's just roles reversed. So it's whatever side your bread is buttered on, I guess, is where you come down on it.
They call us extreme.
Yeah, then they get into those things. You saw with John Cornyn in Texas too, right? Everybody's a radical. If you're not for the incumbent, you have to be a radical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I call it's Coke versus 7-Up. We just want variations of Coke. You can be Diet Coke. You could be caffeine-free Coke. You could be Coke Zero. Just don't be 7-Up.
Right.
We're not voting for 7-Up. We want Coke.
Right. And I guess I'm probably not very clear on this. Can they run as Republican without using the party apparatus?
And that's the thing that gets my rub. Okay, let's look at the presidential election, right? Every 4 years, there's only one Republican that gets to run as a Republican, right? He has to be nominated by every state in the country, right? But North Dakota has this stupid laws that the legislature created once upon a time, and it can never be changed because it's too big of a split. It can be done in the legislature, but there's too many people on each side to ever get it accomplished to change it. It should be like the presidential election. You only get one R on the ballot and you only get one D on the ballot. Anybody else can run, but you don't get that label behind you. And we don't have that right now. Anybody can run it as an R. I can get 300 signatures tomorrow, and without anybody checking, I call myself a Republican and I'm a Republican. It's like racism, Leon. If everybody's a racist, then nobody is.
You're right.
And if everybody's a Republican, then nobody's a Republican because the word doesn't have any meaning. You can do that. You can find the biggest Democrat in the state. He's just got to check the R box and get 300 signatures, and he's on the ballot as a Republican. It should be changed to if it works for the president, it should be good enough for our state.
Agreed. I listened to Rick Becker and Jeff Magrum highlighting, the long-standing divides between ideological conservative and the more pragmatic moderate members. I would use different terms, but those are the terms that they use, with moderates taking their ball and going home. In your view, is this like a healthy tension, or is it damaging the party's ability to win elections? And specifically, if we're thinking about the elections in June, how do you think that this harms our chances in June?
No, I think the Democrat Party is so ineffective, but there's plenty of Republicans in those moderates. There's people that are Democrats. If they had to run in Minnesota, they would call themselves a Democrat because that gives them the best chance to win. They just use it as a way of convenience because that's what you have to be in our state to win. You have to be a Republican. They're 7-Up. They're Orange Crush. They're not any variety of. They're not even Pepsi, Leon. They're not even Pepsi. Not let alone Coke. And so, yes, is it healthy? I don't know. The party has to mean something, or it doesn't mean anything, right?
Yep. And I said before you joined us that if we don't hold some semblance of true north, if we don't hold some semblance, we're all going left, because that's the way it seems to me. It never moves right. It never stays true. It always moves left. And that's what I see in the NDGOP. I see things that are concerning to me. And I don't think that makes me some kind of extremist, like I've been hearing.
It's insane and logical. That's how I look at it. There's one thing we've never tried in this country. Flat out conservative, straight line conservative all the way. It's never been tried in this country.
Right. I agree.
The Overton window, you're right, constantly moves left, 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 left. And but everything gets worse. Is that a coincidence?
Nope.
No. But I like you, I firmly believe the American people are an unserious people. They have an attention span of a gnat. And I
say goldfish, but yeah, I got you.
So that's where it's at. I mean, that's what you're up against. And so let's go back to the primary thing. So the incumbent, he gets beat out in the district. He doesn't get to use the R behind his name. In my world, he wouldn't get to use the R behind his name, but he does have name recognition, right? He's the incumbent. So he has that advantage over me as the district endorsed candidate. So why does he get both? The name and the R, and because he wants to still keep the R, he gets both advantages over me, and I'm the endorsed candidate. Doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I have a problem with that because I believe that the incumbent did use the apparatus, the funding, the grind that you and me and folks like us put out there to get that person elected. They used that. And so for them to jump platform, for them to jump ship, and you know, I don't care if, you know, if you don't want to come and be endorsed by the folks that put you in that seat, you know, more power to you. But there should be some penalty for that. In my humble opinion, I don't know how that would look. I don't know what type of apparatus would
take away the initial from his name. He doesn't get to carry that anymore. He wasn't endorsed. He doesn't. I'm Republican. Well, I'm Republican. Well,
Yeah.
Well, who says you are? Let's challenge that a little bit. You know what I mean? So, but is it ever? It can't get changed because there's too many people. It'll be a 50-50 vote. It's selfishness, you know. And so there we sit. And I don't know. It's going to take people like Matt Simon and a lot of smarter people than me to figure this out. But it's a mess. It's a big, big mess.
I saw this coming when Matt Simon won. I saw this coming, and I guess my question to you, I mean, you're much smarter than me when it comes to this this type of thing. Is this is it repairable? Because I saw infight. When I say infighting, I mean folks don't understand. when Matt got the chairmanship, I saw some people that I respected act very badly. And I think that this was a long time coming. I think all of this was planned. I guess what I would want to know is this rift repairable? Because looking at it from right now, I just can't see it, man. This is like me and my sister, who I've been estranged from for like 20 years, and we don't talk, and you know, we got nothing in common except for the guy in that room over there. That's what it seems like to me.
It's going to take a lot of people getting in the same room, and you still have to remember, folks. There's one way bigger enemy out there, right? It's the left. You kind of see it in the podcast world too, right, Leon? You're living in that world right now. I mean, since Charlie died, everybody's going after each other. They're going after because they see dollars to be made. So you got your Candace Owens, you got your Tuckers, you got your Ben Shapiro's. They're all in a big pissing match and calling each other names. And the other side wants to shoot us.
Yeah.
They did shoot us.
Yeah.
You know, we're losing focus of what really matters here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, that's why back in our Tea Party days, I had to get out of it. I couldn't handle the dishonesty, even on my side.
Yeah.
It was just too much for me to stomach. You know what I mean?
Politics, man.
Yeah,
it's a dirty
blood sport, but for anybody with integrity, it's hard to swallow.
Yeah. And I think that guys like Matt, like I met Matt, we chopped it up on the podcast. I met him in person. We talked. He's a solid dude. He's a really good dude. I don't get the heebie-jeebies with Matt that I get from a lot of politicians that I've met, sat down, spoke with, and I'm like, yeah, something that seems off. I don't get that with Matt. and they don't like Matt. The establishment they do not like this dude. And so it makes me think, how do they feel about me?
Exactly. Instantly, we're radicals, right? Just because we want Coke.
Yeah.
We're radicals. How dare you? You should be happy you're getting a soda.
Yeah.
What are you complaining about? I could have given you water. You're getting a soda. Be happy. We're beating the other side. Be happy.
How do you?
But the world's not getting any better. See, as you cave time and time again, things are getting more and more messed up. Sooner or later, you got to draw the line.
You get any words of wisdom from Steve Dace? Perry interviewed Steve Dace a couple days ago. It was this week, right?
Was last week Thursday, so a week ago from yesterday.
And Steve Dace is probably one of the smartest guys. I mean, I listen to him religiously. One of the smartest political minds, especially to be as young as he is. And when I say young, I think he's like 50, right around there. But he obviously sees the rift in the conservatives versus the GOP. He talks about it all the time. Did he give you any words of wisdom on how we get this thing back on track and moving forward?
I asked him that question, and he said, you got to make deals when you can make deals, but you got to find out who you can make deals with. And that's why you give them something, and then you ask for something back. And if they say no, well, then you know that guy's just playing you. You know what I mean? The one thing that people need to know about Dace was like Charlie Kirk. They actually walked the walk. They went out there and caucused and knocked on doors and got voters. Dace got a Supreme Court justice in Iowa thrown out.
Yep.
That doesn't happen all the time. He rather than just sitting behind a microphone and talking about it like so many of these people do and say, you should go out there and do this. Dace and Charlie Kirk went into the den of the pagan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they walk the walk. They do what they talk about. They don't just tell you to do it.
Yeah. And
there's something that's got to be said for that. I used to say that about Rush Limbaugh. If Limbaugh or Sean Hannity back in the day would have endorsed one or two conservatives, that would have carried a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Instead of just slamming John McCain, how about endorsing his challenger?
When you look at folks like me, and like you, and like so many grassroots people that I know, what do you tell people like us if you have us all in the room and we feel dejected, we feel tossed aside, we feel maligned because the folks that are supposed to be representing us don't really like us? They just don't. What do you tell people like me who will go, you know what? Why put any sweat into this thing?
I'm not going to take any credit. I had to get out of it for a while, but there's strength in numbers. And the people that are involved now in the districts, they've been successful. All of a sudden, we've got them running from us. Okay? It used to be the other way. We were knocking on the door. Now we're throwing them out the door, and they want to be left back in. They're holding on to the handles saying, no. They're on their last legs. You know what I mean? Now we got term limits passed. This doesn't go forever, folks. The party's over. The party's over. The 86-year-old Judy Lee, you're at the end of the line, lady. You're at the end of the line.
Oh yeah, that's been a burr in my saddle for a very long, and I know she's been a burr in yours for a very long time. What statewide incumbents? What message would you give to them if you had them sitting in the room, and you're trying to be the arbiter of peace? What would you say to them?
Well, don't discount the people that are asking for a better candidate. What are we supposed to do? We have to have you until you're bored or you die, or we got to elect a Democrat? Can't we have a challenger? Then go to that district meeting. You may lose, but be a man and stand up and make your argument of why you think you're the better candidate. don't run straight. You still can go to the primary, but stand up and make your argument. Leon, we had in District 13, we had a picnic this summer for District 13 Republicans. For District 13, and the three current serving Republicans didn't show up to their own district Republican meeting because it was the wrong kind of Republicans. Can you imagine me or you not showing up because we're intimidated? What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
Stand in there and take the fire. 50% of the time the people are not going to like you. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
You got to take the heat. You can't just run to friendly. You can't run to AM 1100 every day and get friendly fire. You know what I mean? You got to take some heat once in a while.
I do. I 100% understand that. And again, I compromise. I compromise on a lot. I think I'm right 100% of the time. My wife tells me it's more like 15, 20%, but you stick it out. She's probably, yeah. But I'm not going to agree with you 100% of the time. That's just not a thing. But I have tons more respect for you if you sit there, you argue your point as passionately as I argue mine. Yes. Because in the absence of that, you look at me like a drone. I got to vote for you because of the R. That's not an it's like the COVID thing all over again. You don't want informed consent. You want compliance. You want that mindless drone that's going to do exactly what he's told when he's told to do it. Jump. How high? That sort of thing.
They want 7 people at the district meeting, and then when it comes time to knock on doors, how am I supposed to go out and work for you then? You won't even talk to me and hear a different point of opinion. Once in a while, Leon, when you go to the restaurant, they don't have Coke. You got to order Pepsi, right? Or vice versa. So sometimes we lose in the argument, and we got to take the best we can. But these people are running from the argument. I can't imagine a grown-up that wants to be a leader running from a fight.
Yeah.
But that's what Republicans do, right? We just lose more slowly.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for a generation. Just lose slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've made that point before also. It seems to me that when Democrats have the power, they are just balls to the wall, man. They don't care. It could be the craziest. I mean, we've already seen it. I mean, we saw it under the.
It's only going to get worse, right? It's only going to get worse the next time.
And we're afraid to just call somebody out on our side. Like, we don't even do that. We try to play with kid gloves while these people are beating the hell out of us. We got 20 million illegals under Biden, and we still got Republicans that are wishy-washy on the SAVE Act. Like, come on, guys, glove up. Glove up.
I'll use a Dace argument from yesterday. He said, if you're going to sit there and explain to your audience, well, the Senate procedure doesn't allow us to do this with the SAVE Act and stuff like this, you've already lost, dude. You've already lost. The people don't care about procedure.
Yeah.
They want results.
Yeah.
Look at the airports this week.
Yeah.
The lines are out. I got to travel in the next couple of weeks. The lines are out the frickin' doors, 4-hour lines for something nobody can explain, that the Democrats are shutting down you know what I mean? Stupidity like this. You think you're winning. Nobody's convinced other than your lemmings, but the public has to suffer for it. And like you said, 20 million people. So you can't make it sure that only American citizens can vote because you got some sort of procedure in the United States Senate, but 90% of the public wants it? And we're supposed to champion you?
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
I didn't mean to get you upset, man. Yeah. To me, it is just, it's unbelievable. And I played the whole Coons and Nome. I played Schumer. Hey, 10 million people are going to get kicked off the boat. Well,
duh.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
That's kind of the point, exactly. You said it the other day on our show, right? Whatever they're accusing you of is what they're doing.
Yep, they're projected 100%.
Yes.
Perry, anything you want to leave us with? Words of wisdom.
I want to tell your viewers and listeners to watch our Due North podcast. Leon is one of the stars. every other Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Join us.
Yeah, I got a plug in here. I might play it. Play you out with it. But yeah, I enjoy it. I figured out that I was not a star when your brother is racking up the points, man.
Logical, yeah. He's just so calm. Maybe people like that. Maybe that's what they like. Me and you get a little bit more fired up.
Yeah, we're a little more salty. He's a little more. We're gonna move with the whole trophy thing.
I'm not sure. We'll see. It depends if I'm winning or not.
I was looking at the numbers today. I got to put some scores on the board, man. Perry Schumacher, guys.
You have a good weekend, Leon. Thanks for having me.
You do the same. So that's Perry. And seriously, and I always put on my social media, when we're going to have the show. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'm going to play you a little bit of our show here. I'm going to go down here and give me a second here. Or maybe I didn't put it in here. Maybe. Let's do this. I'll do this instead.
Okay, let's go.
I am Leon Francis of Blackbeard Logic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it.
Brand LLC, raising and training tomorrow's barrel horses right out of Bismarck, North Dakota. Tracy and her family are great American patriots who not only support the Second Amendment, but they also promoted what you're looking for, top quality barrel horses. Go ahead and give Tracy a call at 701-471-6629 and tell them Guns and 701.com sent you. That's Anvil Brand LLC out of Bismarck, North Dakota.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Visit HortonLasercraft.com today and start crafting your perfect gift. For more info, email them at HortonLasercraft@yahoo.com or call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
T-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with Blackbeard Logic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it. Yeah, Jamie, I know. I gotta go through my commercials, and yeah, that was an old commercial. Now that I'm thinking about it, Alex Balaz is in the house, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I know Alex is going to show up because he's cut from a different cloth, which is why he got my vote at the last convention, and he will get my vote this time around. and I'm just going to kind of wrap this segment up by saying my whole Cutterbuck motif that I'm running with now. Cutterbuck. That's either you run with the Republicans, with the grassroots that put in the sweat equity, that ground it out, that stay on that grind for the NDGOP, or you cut it loose. Grab the eye. Cutterbuck. Period. That's where I am. All of these incumbents that bailed on the convention, every statewide Republican office holder skipping the Minot endorsement, saying that we're too populist for them now. You know, I say Cutterbuck. In my humble opinion, you're a rhino. I don't. That is not a mindset that I am comfortable with. If you're going to represent me, that's not what we do here. Cutterbuck, and I think that Alex, I think he's cut from a different cloth, and I think that's why they fear him so much. I think that's why they fear people like Matthew Simons, Steve Dace, Royce White, folks like that. I think they want those go along to get along guys. I think they don't want an informed electorate. They don't want that. Like, our types tend to think for ourselves. We see things that are wrong and we call them out. Even if it's folks that are on our side. The one thing that kind of distinguishes us from Democrats is they have 100% unity over there. They have groupthink. They're drones over there. We're kind of not that. We have that independent streak that founded this country. And that thing is unbridled. You can't, it's like a wild horse. And I think that there is strength and unity of a party like that. Robust debate. Great. I love it. Bring it on. I got my ideas. You got your ideas. Let's sit down and let's talk it out. If I don't agree, I don't agree. If I agree with 90% of your policies and procedures and strategy, then you got somebody who's going to grind it out for you. But if you don't even have the conversation, if you won't even talk to me, if you think I'm too extreme to come and even submit an argument to, then you're losing me. Like, there's no reconciliation behind that. Cutterbuck. Be a Republican or be a rhino or be an independent. You can't be both. So, Alex, I will see you in Minot, and I will be very, very happy to cast my vote for you. Now, let's move. Let's see, where was I going to go after that? Maybe let's do a little Kathy Hochul. This chuckle nut. So when I heard about this is one of the, and we all know how Democrats, their mindset. They try to come off as altruistic. They're not. They're bigots. Like, in their heart of hearts, that's what they are. And this woman, and understand when I say awful, I know a ton of folks aren't familiar with that term, but it's a fluent white lady, usually liberal. She personifies what an awful is. Listen to this.
A Sunday service at True Bethel Baptist Church in Buffalo, a predominantly Black church. Governor Kathy Hochul addressed the congregation. She spoke about the upcoming state inflation rebate or inflation refund check meant to offset the burden New Yorkers have faced because of inflation and higher sales tax. Now, I'm going to show y'all what she said in just a second, but it wasn't good. Here we go.
Cuts in Medicaid. People will lose their health care jobs, and I don't want to see that happen. So I'm putting more money back in people's pockets, the largest middle-class tax cut rate in 70 years. An inflation rebate, because you all paid so much in inflation, we collected more in sales tax. I said, that's not my money, that's their money. You people across the state of New York, checks are coming out soon. Watch the mail. Okay? Okay? Don't spend it all one day. Get something you really need. Okay? Don't stop by the liquor store. Okay? Buy something for the kids. Buy them some food. Sometimes I have to stop by the liquor store too. I understand. It's all right. It's all right.
All right. Kathy Hochul, ladies and gentlemen, let me remove her. So again, as y'all heard, she was there at the church and telling them all about the rebate checks and all that. And she says, don't stop by the liquor store. And then I didn't know, it was kind of a mixed reaction in the audience there. And she said, oh, I have to stop by the liquor store sometimes too. And it's like, it sounds like you already did, if you ask me. But anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Imagine, and I've been seeing a lot of clips like this of Democrats saying the most bigoted thing, yet they are supposed to be the party of the minority, and they are absolutely not. And it kind of ties into what we were talking about with the NDGOP. They want drones. They want, like, people like Biden want me to hear him say that if you don't vote Democrat, then you ain't black, and just be okay with that. Like, I'm not supposed to have any critical thinking gray matter up here. I'm supposed to go, oh, okay. And like when Hochul said, I think it was last year when she said, well, black folks are not going to be able to get, IDs because they don't know how to work. Black kids in the ghetto don't have computers or some stupid thing like that. I'm supposed to go, oh, okay, yeah, that must be true, right? Hochul is a Timu and Hitlery double. You're right. I don't understand how these people get elected. I'm saying that, but I do understand. An uninformed, easily persuaded electorate, which is what we can never become. We cannot become afraid to hold our representatives' feet to the fire because we're afraid that they're going to just, angrily take their ball and go home, type of. We can't do that. We do that, we get COVID. We get I forget what the vaccine schedule is, and just kind of roll with it. Politicians by nature are not to be trusted. Alex, sorry, brother. One thing that I take from Reagan is trust but verify. And if I can't even get you in a room to talk to you because you're cutting and running, count me out. I'm out. Here's something else that you're supposed to kind of take the media's word for. I don't know if you guys if you've been following the whole Pete Hegseth thing. They moved on to some other idiotic talking point now, but they were dragging Pete Hegseth because he, had, I think it was $22 million, and they were all weebied up because it was for lobster and steak and an ice cream machine and all of this stuff, and they were like, oh, he's spending frivolously. Jesus, I can't even speak. What's going on, man? But I want to hear. I want you guys to hear Scott Jennings talking about this. Here we go.
Spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steak, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
all for himself? Lobster tails?
Do you believe
while our troops are eating MREs?
No. Do you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Well, he can't eat 16.
Troops.
Oh, really? The troops are getting lobster
frequently.
Brothers deep.
Yeah, they are.
Has steak and lobster. How's your steak and lobster?
All right. Damn, you're decent.
How's yours?
I'm ready for war.
We're going to war.
My
God.
Troops who are going to war.
Oh, my God.
Great meal. You know that.
They're getting lobster. You are so full of it.
Killed over this.
You're
going to get killed over this. Internet, do something.
And the internet did.
I might have to double it.
I
had to run it back. I had to run it back.
He has spent.
In 2010 in Afghanistan, I was working with two other Marine EOD techs, Brian Smith and Chindo Mesa. We had been out all day long working some IEDs. It was a difficult day. We had a few really close calls that day. When we got back, we sat down, and I've got this picture of us just sitting on a ledge at Patrol Base Karma, and there's a stack of MREs behind us. And I remember Mesa looking at me and saying, man, I hope I don't get that chicken tetrazzini or something like that. Like, we've been out all day. It's a tough day. It's like, man, I just hope we get a decent MRE. And then somebody comes down the corner like, hey, guys, it's steak and lobster night. It's surf and turf. A log train had come in, which was insane because the route was littered with IEDs. And now I've got another picture of the three of us eating steak in the room that we lived in later that night. What's funny is the look on our faces from the one picture to the other is about the same because we're in war. But after that day, for weeks, we talked about steak and lobster nights. The only one I've ever gotten overseas. It was in the middle of a really tough summer. Brian got blown up a few weeks later. He's not with us anymore. He died of stomach cancer last year. Then I got blown up a couple of months later. And you see these tweets. You see these tweets about, you know, Pete Hegseth has spent $15 million on steak and lobster. Are you serious? That is the only thing about home. That's the only thing that makes you feel special for the entire time you're there watching your buddies die and you're mad about that. The fact that people aren't smart enough to even look up what that's for before they criticize it. And I guarantee you none of them said a word when Biden surrendered Afghanistan, killed 13 of us, or when the whole DOD spent tens of millions of dollars on going woke.
So what this guy is saying is spot on. It's 100% true. Steak and lobster are a time-honored tradition before and during deployments, for holidays, sometimes on Fridays, depending on the installation. This again, it's another fake outrage by the left. And like that guy that Pete Hegseth was arguing with, he knows this because that guy, I believe, was in the military, so he understood. He knew that what he was saying was not true. And on a side note, these same people conveniently and rarely complain that rarely complain that troops are not being taken care of with the proper, you know, X, Y, and Z. I'll go one better. One of the reasons why things like this just kind of cheeses my grits is because I believe that these guys deserve it. We have politicians over here that have little to no skin in the game. The military does. And I'm gonna do this. I want you to look right there. See right here? United States of America honors the memory of Marissa Jo Gloria, signed by Donald Trump, awarded by a grateful nation in recognition of devoted and selfless conservation to the service for our country in the armed forces of the United States, and that's Marissa up there. She has a place of honor in our house because we appreciate her sacrifice. That was my niece there. And like I'm reading some of the comments, illegals get four-star hotels in NYC, 3 hot meals a day. That a lot of times they would throw in the trash. All of that. Like I see things like this. Like when I saw all of them getting all wee-weed up, and I agree with Pete. I wouldn't have even addressed any of those idiots, any of those news, but it blew up. It went viral. And all of a sudden, we are no longer talking about this. The $40 billion in military equipment. But we're supposed to be mad that Hegseth bought our guys surf and turf. Like Pete bought $20 million worth of surf and turf, and he sat down and he ate it himself. No, we're also supposed to forget about, you know, the fact that Obama sent Khomeini $1.7 billion. That is enough money to get Fargo out of the hole, right there. But $20 million for our troops, apparently, that's a bridge too far. Biden sent Khomeini $6 billion. We're not. What are we supposed to do with that? You know, it's a non-issue that they blew up. And I was happy to see that the internet did exactly what Jennings asked it to do. There were tons of video from enlisted men and women talking about this over this entire week. And the media moved on. Now they're on this whole thing where Pete Hegseth said, we're going to give no quarter to the enemy. Oh, my God, they're talking about the Hague. That fat port over there at Inforum is like, oh, my God, we have war. This is a war crime and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, my God, these people they're not serious people. And if they didn't control so much power, we could ignore them. But they do. And the only reason they have the power is the thing that they require is us to be uninformed. They want us, like the Democrats are already like this. Those people are not informed. They're soundbite people. They believe exactly what they hear in the mainstream media. We are a different breed, which is concerning, which is why the situation with the NDGOP is so concerning. When the folks that I help elect to represent me no longer want to hear from me, they specifically cut us out of the equation. The folks that'll hold their feet to the fire, the folks that'll have those hard conversations with them, they intentionally cut us out of the equation and they go after the mindless drones. That is concerning. That is very concerning to me. All right, I'm going to do something that'll make, and how could we forget about this little gem? Ilhan Omar's net worth increased from $65,000 to $30 million in 3 years. I'm going to let you guys sit with that, and we're going to run this commercial break.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Yeah, just kind of looking through the comments here. Some really good points. The left would have them sleep in a parking garage and give them cold pizza. Yeah, the same people don't seem to mind that we spent $18 million covering up congressional sex scandals. How did our representative vote for that? Yeah, that's a problem for me. That's a problem. I got to have Alex on here before the convention and just kind of pick his brain on some things. I wonder if he'll run. I wonder if he'll be like, oh no, that guy's too crazy. And I remember, like, and I'm going to wrap up this Pete Hegseth DOD getting slammed for $22 million on steak and lobster. And that's to fly it overseas, to do whatever he's going to do. And there was like ice cream and obviously like some comfort food. These folks are getting like MREs. And like the guy in the video, the veteran in the video was saying, you know, you get back, it's hot, you know, it's a long deployment. You might lose a friend or two. And the morale booster you get is like, instead of tearing open that chicken tetrazzini MRE, they're like, hey, come down to Chow Hall. We got surf and turf tonight. And you're like, I got no problem with that. I do have a problem with the Taliban getting $40 billion in gear, in American gear, with Iran getting $1 billion in cash dropped from on pallets from unmarked planes. I have a problem with leering centers in Minnesota. That's what I have a problem with. This is a non-issue here to me. Like when I heard this, I'm like, what? So we're not even talking about, like, they found all kind of because of Nick Shirley and what he did in Minnesota and in Michigan, they're finding fraud all over the place. California is going to make Minneapolis look like, you know, child's play. I was watching an interview where there was this one doctor. He was semi-retired, but these people were using his doctor code to sign all these people up for like Medicare scams and hospice scams, and so when the reporter brought him like all of the evidence, he's like, yeah, I didn't do any of this. Then they go to the place of business, and they didn't want to talk. They didn't want to talk. All of this money, like we think that it takes the extraordinary amount of money to run our government. And whenever we talk about, you know, streamlining or giving us some of our tax money back or anything to, oh my God, the liberals go, how will your roads get fixed? How will you have firefighters? And they always go to that crap. What they never talk about is USAID. They never talk about all the fraud, waste, and abuse. They never talk about how COVID, and Perry made this point the other day, how the whole COVID scam drove inflation. Why? I haven't heard anyone talk about that. And when he said it, it clicked. I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know why I never even thought of that. But do you understand the amount of money, the amount of just unbelievable cash that was injected? But we're talking about Pete Hegseth and $22 million. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I'm good for a cold pizza and a beer. I'm good for, but the troops, I think they deserve a little bit more than that. Speaking of Due North Political podcast, we had a segment called Stand If You Agree. And this was my stand if you agree. Let me know what you think. You agree with this statement, stand up and show your support. The Second Amendment is non-negotiable. Defending our right to keep and bear arms is non-negotiable. If you agree with this statement, stand up and show your support. Your IQ should be higher than your shoe size to run for any political office. Stand up and show your support if you agree that, and I'm really big into parental rights, so forgive me, but parental rights trump pseudoscience. Parents, not woke bureaucrats, or junk science, gender ideology decide what's best for our kids. Stand up if you agree that the American war machine should focus on breaking things and taking names and not on being like gender inclusive and, you know, all the other flowery crap that we're not. And there's just so much. It's like I could get on here and go for 6 hours a day, just scrolling through social media, scrolling through news stories, and coming on here and just kind of bitching about it. I could, because there is so much wrong. There's so much that I see wrong, yet they keep us focused on BS. In my humble opinion, that's what they do. That's what they do. Like when we're talking about our country being founded on divine providence and how it was set up, and it's only for moral and just people, and then you just take a step back and you look at it. Are we that? I mean, sometimes I look and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't even want to be a part of it. But I got kids. I got a son. And so the reason I try to grind, especially when it comes to politics, is because I know that politics shape the direction of America. It shapes Americana. It shapes what I'm going to leave to Eli. And I want maximum liberty. I don't want people fleecing him. I don't want people sending him to garbage wars. I don't want, like, his family while he's at work, someone that shouldn't even be in this country, assaulting them or worse. And I look at these things like common sense things. I don't want pedophiles running around. I don't want my representative covering up for sexual indiscretion in Washington. I don't want any of that. I don't want an elected representative, from North Dakota, traveling overseas to have sex with minors. I don't want any of that. But apparently I'm an extremist for holding to that. I don't understand it. I do understand it. Steve Deace talks about it all the time, spirit of the age. That's what it is. And like all of these incumbents that are skipping this convention, I'm going to have a lot to say about a lot of these guys. And I'm not one to couch my words. It's like I said, cut or buck. That's where I'm at right there. I don't see, there are certain individuals that I cannot see me ever voting for again. Like, ever. It will be a cold day in hell before, like, well, let's go. It's supposed to be a feel good Friday today, right? So let's do this. I'm gonna digress for a second, and I'm gonna do some feel good Friday bits. One is gonna come from someone we all know. I can't believe I've never seen this before. A good friend of mine posted it on one of my social media threads today, and I could not believe that I had never seen this before. So this is gonna be a good one. Here we go. This is awesome. Oh, Marty. Jesus. Good God. Wait. It's not done. Okay. how awesome is that? That's just wow. I can That makes me feel good. And if you know Marty, and I know a lot of the folks in my audience know Marty. Marty is the guy I got the Coonhound and the Beagle from. A really good guy, but I thought that was phenomenal because I may or may not have purchased a firearm recently, and me and my wife had this conversation. So I thought that was great. Another feel good Friday for me, and this is. I don't know how many of you guys out there are feel this way, but every time I see a liberal protester or a liberal agitator getting their just desserts, it's a feel good day. I love to see it. So here we go.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Oh my God. When I saw that, I'm like whatever I was drinking, that came out of my face hole. So that's what it is. I'm extremely disappointed and pissed in the incumbent skipping the convention. Yep. Having said that, no effing way I'd vote for. No, absolutely not. I am not. Hang on. Hold on. I am not voting for a Democrat. Like that, if you know me, you should know that is automatically out the window. That's not gonna friggin' happen. I can't allow those people to gain power at all. I just no. So Jamie, no. I get you, but there's no way I couldn't. Not in good conscience. If I'm not going to vote for a rhino, there's no way in hell I'm voting for a jackass. Man, I'm not even drinking, and I've already thrown out a couple of profane words, so I apologize for that. And my wife, who's in there, probably giving me the stink eye right now. I apologize. I'm sorry. But Jamie, you know how he does. He gets my dander all up and whatnot. My brother and I went to high school with him. Oh, you must be referencing Marty. Marty is a good dude. And perfect for a feel-good Friday, especially on a Friday like this, where we are, as a party, especially the NDGOP, if you are in the North Dakota portion of my listening audience, the NDGOP, like, I don't know what it's going to take. Again, I saw this coming when Matthew got the chairmanship. I saw how many of those entrenched folks kind of lost their mind, and I think they formulated a plan. And this was part of the plan. And it hurts my heart that that's what this thing has become. Like, again, if you don't want the endorsement, fine, but run as an independent. But they understand the brand. They understand the power of the brand. And this is going to be hurtful for some folks. But some folks do not understand the issues. They don't understand what's on the table. What they do gravitate towards is the moniker. That R, that D, or that I. And sadly, these folks understand that. Democrats understand that. They've understood this for a very long time. Again, 2 seconds on this. My father, lifelong Democrat till I got him here, and I started actually showing him what Democrats stand for. And my father called them demonic and couldn't believe it. Like, I would tell him things, and there's no way that's true. Well, let's see. And that's all it took. That's all it took. An informed populace. You can't pull the wool over the eyes of an informed populace. Again, I go back to COVID because that's that whole thing in a nutshell. I go back to the vaccines because it's that whole thing in a nutshell. One of the reasons why we are homeschooling Eli is because I don't want him to be a drone. Drones got us where we are today. Yeah, they've been effing with us for years. You're right about that, Axel. They shouldn't be able to use the R. And see, that's where I'm at. But from everything that I can understand, they can use the R. I don't believe that they should be able to. I think that if the NDGOP nominates a person, that is the only person that should be able to run with an R, with a Republican. With an incumbent, though, it kind of becomes associated with that incumbent. Again, uninformed electorate. And it's sad. And it is extremely upsetting. But it's why we got to do a much better job. And again, and I'll just say it, Fedoracek, like I never trusted her. You can ask my wife. She'll tell you. I never trusted her. When I saw her at the convention and she was doing the whole pink thing and I'm looking at her, not a thing in her or in her presentation made me trust her. Alex, on the other hand, I had never met him before. We talked and I don't know if Alex remembers this. I was a black guy in a suit. I think he was 6 at that time. The 6-year-old came up, shook his hand, felt the calluses, and we had a 2-minute conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. I've asked Julie's campaign manager numerous times. Yeah, no, that'll never happen. JD, there's no way in hell she's coming on your show or mine. Alex has been more than happy to come on more than once, and he's a badass American and a true gun guy. Yeah, I know this. I knew this within 5 minutes of meeting him and talking to him. I'm not going to call it a sixth sense or something, but I have a very high BS detector. And you can ask people that know me best. There's some people that I meet that I will never talk to again. And there are some people that I meet and I'm like, yeah, that's a good person right there. And all it takes is a 5-minute conversation. A lot of the times, and I know that. When I first met Perry, I knew that right off. And he is as gruff a dude as you ever want to meet. Perry Schumacher is. But meeting him, I was like, yeah, this dude is trustworthy. With Fedoracek, never got that. Never got that. And there are other candidates and incumbents that they feel off. And that's just me. Maybe I'm out in left field. but that's just me. Anyway, I am Leon Francis. This is Blackbeard Logic on the Guns in the 701 network. Be sure to tune in to Vance Bishop Sunday morning for the Sunday Sportsman devotional. I am subscribed, so my phone will wake me up just to get that. I love it because he gives you some Jesus and then hunting and fishing and all of that stuff. And he doesn't drone on like I do. Like, you're not going to be there for 2 hours. You're going to be there for a good 30 minutes, and you're going to get the word, and it's going to fill you. It's going to set the tone for the day. So check that out. And then I can't say as always because I am not entirely clear on when Clay, I think this Thursday, it's going to be the same schedule. So check out Clay Thursday night, Guns in the 701. This Thursday, if I'm wrong, I'll correct it on my social media. But as it stands now, I think it's still Thursday until after Lent. And check him out. He had a really cool woman on last night talking about elk hunting and this and that. I love the conversations there. And Clay is the type, doesn't put on airs, comes as he is, real talk. And I've always loved that about him. And JD has his own thing that he's doing, I think, on Tuesdays. And obviously, I do the Due North political podcast every other Tuesday, but it's at 6:00. So, and it's only for about an hour. We were trying for the 30-minute time frame, but since we all like to talk, it kind of went to 45. We're going to try to stick it in between 30 and 45 minutes, and then hop on and listen to some gun talk with JD there. So yeah. GAT701 is still on Thursday. Okay, good deal. Thanks, man. Thanks. Great show, brother. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, all of my social media, Blackbeard Logic, that's Twitter, that's Twitch, that's Spotify, that's iHeart. All of that. All of this will be uploaded, and you can watch this on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. So, like, subscribe, tune in, share, help a brother out.